honest.
Cruising down the street in my 6'4".
Hey, yo, that was dope, E.
That was so good.
SHORYUFLICKS.
What's up, guys? Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel, SHORYUFLICKS. This is going to be our premiere episode where we're going to be reviewing the sequel to The Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials. So, my name is Maersky. This is my boy, Szeto.
Hello.
You might have seen him in that stupid basketball video we used to do.
That doesn't exist.
It does.
That was his idea, by the way.
Cut to the footage.
No!
All right, so we caught a midnight showing of the Scorch Trials, and to give a little background of what we were going into watching it was that we've never read any of the Maze Runner books. We both have seen the first Maze Runner. We also have read the crib sheet for the Maze Runner series, which is, everybody goes to Wikipedia.
Actually, you did. I didn't.
Oh, I did.
I
Okay,
went into it not knowing anything.
So, okay. I pretty much read all the Wikipedia pages without having to read the book, so I had some background for it going in. The first Maze Runner actually was pretty close to how the first book went, and then we saw the Scorch Trials. And what was your first impressions, Will?
I liked it, to be honest with you. The acting wasn't half bad. I didn't like the first one because the main villain for that one, actually, what's the kid's name? I should look that up before. Anyway, the guy that did
Gally.
Gally, yes.
Gally,
I did not like the actor. He did not do a good job.
That was that kid from We're the Millers. He's actually not bad in that, but it was tough for me to kind of picture him as a villain. And actually, he got a lot bigger for this movie too. But it's just I couldn't buy him as if there was one thing with the first Maze Runner, it was that
it was not convincing to me.
Yeah.
So every time he tried to become a badass or like try and take down every single thing they're trying to build up,
yeah,
I was like, I don't believe any of this.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like Scorch Trials. The pacing was amazing. We're gonna go over like the different elements that we're gonna cover in terms of the 5 things we're gonna be covering. But overall, I liked it. I mean, I was watching the entire time. I was focused.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
I liked it.
I'll
pull up the.
As for me, I pretty much thought that it was a good movie, but it wasn't the movie I was expecting. So for me, going into the movie, having read the Wikipedia page, I was expecting a certain type of plot point,
Right.
and then
Right.
kind of something else came out of it. There was a lot of cool.
So true.
There was a lot of cool stuff in the movie.
Yeah.
If not to get too spoilerish with it, but
Yes. I shouldn't do that.
yeah. I mean, we want you to make your own decision after watching
Yes.
this, obviously.
Yes.
So what I'm going to say is that it was entertaining, very entertaining, but it wasn't the type of movie that I had expected.
That's why I don't read Wikipedia articles.
Man,
Messes me up.
It's based on a book, though.
Yeah, but I mean, from what I've been told, the people that have read the books, it does definitely get away from it, but it takes it away when you just read a summary. Because I think they actually dive into a little more description in the books of why things are the way they are.
Okay. So I should start reading the book then.
We didn't have the time to.
Maybe. Yeah. I have 2 kids, guys. 2 kids, a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old.
I don't have. I can't.
I love my kids though, so
They're cool. They're
yeah,
good kids.
I mean,
they both love superheroes.
they're my kids, so
That makes sense.
They gotta be cool. Anyway, okay.
Cover the different categories we're going to be doing.
So the categories we're going to be talking about is basically watchability, fun factor, pace and editing. What else we got on here? Tone,
and last but not least,
acting. Dun-dun-dun.
the most important thing.
Can't have a movie without acting. Or can you?
Or really bad acting just makes it not even a movie.
Transformers.
Not more than meets the eye. That's what's in front of you.
Okay.
I mean,
let's go. Let's go. So, Will, what did you think? How watchable was the Scorch Trials?
Like I said before, I think that watchability-wise, it was actually really good. It kept my attention the entire time. I have this propensity to look at my phone whenever I get a little bit bored in a movie, so my phone stay in my pocket the entire time. So that, and I usually judge a movie based on again, whether or not look at the phone. So if I don't look at it, that means watchability to me is 5 out of 5. So
5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 only because I think I had that back in my head where a lot of things were happening in the movie that I wasn't kind of trying to predict.
Yes.
But it did keep my attention like most of the entire time, especially when my boy Ki Hong Lee was on there representing for the Asians.
Bang.
He was just as badass in this movie as he was in the other one. So even though he was kind of a dick when at first impression,
He had more lines in this movie too, which
He
made
did,
me
yeah.
really happy. I'm going to dive into that part a little more about having him actually being in a starring role, but he actually got more dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
I got to show a little more of his humor side.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that, watchability was, for me, 5 out of 5. You
cool.
4
I got
out
a
of
4 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then I guess the next level is, let me ask you, what do you think about the fun factor of it?
So going again, remember, I read the stupid Wikipedia page, so I wasn't really expecting it to be as fun as it was, and it was very fun. It was a fun movie. There's a lot of twists and turns, a lot of weird turns in the movie too. When it gets into kind of the second half of the movie, a lot of weird turns, and it took a turn to where I thought I was watching an episode of a certain AMC show with.
No, I wonder what show that
that's
would
in
be.
season right now. So it's the fall season, Halloween season. So it kind of took a, kind of a.
You know what they remind me of, without going too into it?
Get it turned.
It's something you would find on a map. Something called a legend.
Mm.
So a movie with that same legend title, it reminded me of that in terms of.
Was there like a dude that used to be a prince in there?
Yes, and
he was a fresh prince, I
and
guess.
wore really nice sneakers while he was the prince of a certain place in California.
Let's not go back to the sneaker thing.
I'm sorry.
That's
they remind me
over.
of that movie.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
But what did you feel this was better than that though, right? As far as the look of those things.
Yeah, because you know why in that particular movie, I Am Legend.
Yeah, in case you didn't know,
the special effects for the bad guys.
Yeah, they weren't. Okay, let's just say there weren't zombies in that movie. It was kind of more like
It was like a viral outbreak that caused people to go crazy. It was like rabies, basically.
Yeah,
Almost like I think that's where a lot of zombie things are going for, like the whole rabies kind of thing. But no, graphically it was a little more believable.
Okay.
They were fast as hell too in this movie.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't outrun them unless you literally didn't. They kept saying, what didn't bother me a little bit about this movie?
Mm.
They kept saying, "Don't look back," but every single time
They look
everyone
back.
looked back.
So
Drove me insane.
I think that's kind of what affected my watchability thing too, but it added to the fun factor because you wondered whether or not they would get out of a certain situation. But the watchability thing, I kept on. I don't know if you heard me. I just kept on saying, "What the hell? Keep moving! Don't."
Stop looking back.
Yeah.
There's always one person in front that says, "Don't look back."
Whenever you're getting chased in a movie,
Yeah.
why does everyone do this? I know it's back there. You saw it the first time. Come on, man.
But everyone looked too. That's the first movie was like that. Where it's like, "Don't look back." He always looked back. What's his name? Thomas always looked back.
Yeah.
Even though every time Mino said, "Don't look back," look back. Don't look back. He looked back. Even Mino started looking back.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a reoccurring theme with this movie, was that they keep saying, "Don't look back,"
But they keep looking back.
but they all look back, and it never. Well, they always get away though, which is crazy.
That's true.
Not to say that they get away in this movie, but in the first one, they always got away somehow.
Yeah.
Even giant robots with.
Yeah.
this is my impersonation.
What do they call them in there?
That is a good question.
Grievers.
Grievers,
They
yes.
call them grievers.
These are grievers.
These are grievers. Yeah. His interpretation of a robot spider is that.
But they had like human faces. I thought throughout the movie that maybe there's a chance that the grievers were made of people, kids that weren't able to pass the tests.
I know you're overthinking it.
I do.
I think you're overthinking it.
For me, the fun factor, again, it was definitely fun from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they sprinkled jokes in here and there.
Yeah.
They weren't gut busting, but they're kind of like, because you're so enthralled with the movie the entire time, when they throw in, it's like, oh god, okay. I can relax for a second. Then they go right back into it. But it was
true.
they sprinkled it in, so I like that.
So what's your score?
Fun factor? I want to do 5 out of 5. Yeah, 5 out of 5, just because I had a lot of fun watching it. Oh, and another thing is that For fun factor, I measured also by whether or not I could watch with a group of friends or not, and have everyone entertained.
Yeah. So that's what I usually go by too for fun factor. So I'll give it also a 5 out of 5. Yeah.
So I guess
moving on.
Yeah,
the tone. So the first Maze Runner movie I thought was very kind of started off melancholy while they were in the glade, and then as they started getting through different things in the maze, and then Albie died. Whoever didn't see the first Maze Runner, you should be watching this review anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point.
By the way,
sorry,
so spoiler, yeah. So, but by the way, I think I think you had to see the first one to kind of understand what's going on.
No, you definitely. It's one of those movies you have to watch the first one in order to watch the second one. You can't. You can't do it.
This one, the Scorch Trials doesn't stand alone from the Maze Runner because if they keep referring back to the first movie
many times, over and over.
You have to watch the first one. Anyway, so the tone of the first Maze Runner it started off with with him getting put into the glade, which was kind of intense, and then then he was meeting people, so it was kind of squared off with that. Then they were going into the maze and coming back out, and then stuff just started changing.
Yeah.
The Scorch Trials was actually different in the sense that it was almost all action all the time. All action and then all edge of your seat suspense all the time, which was something I didn't expect. What did you expect?
I didn't know what to expect because I would literally, I'm going to be real with you guys. I watched the first one literally a few hours before I watched this one. I waited the last minute to watch the first one.
Well, then it was fresh in your mind. Then.
Yeah, I kind of did on purpose, but also I was kind of pushing it off. But anyway.
I told him to watch it.
I had to download it. But tone-wise, I did think it was very dark, and it felt kind of ominous at points where it was like, oh my god, there's going to be something around the corner that's going to ruin everything.
Yeah.
So I definitely thought it was, even during the scenes where they had, sunlight and during daytime, the way they used the shadowing almost all the time, whether or not it was daytime or not, they're always in some kind of shadow. Whether they're hiding under like a canopy or they were inside of a building during daytime because they were still running away and hiding. And I noticed that they spent a majority of the film indoors or it was filmed mostly at nighttime or they were inside.
Yeah.
Because the beginning of the movie they start off in the whole laboratory kind of feel and so it's mostly a casino where you don't even know what time of day it is.
Right.
So tone wise, I think it definitely was a more deliberately dark than the first one. Because the first one, at least, you had the natural feel to it. You had trees and agriculture and stuff like that. This one, nothing. Sand.
Yeah, it was this. They don't call it the Scorch for nothing.
Yeah.
So the tone was a lot like. I keep referring back to this movie. We're gonna keep referring back to it probably because it's more comparable to I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Except it was a lot more desolate. Or think about this: it was like the day after tomorrow, but it wasn't ice; it was sand.
Oh,
kind
good comparison.
Like,
I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
that's good. That's nice.
That's kind of like how what they're just pushing through the entire movie in the Scorch. So just give you a basic premise too. After the maze, basically they're now sent off to what they think is something that is another safe haven.
Yeah, they got saved.
Yeah, they got saved.
From people that came in helicopters and swooped them up. And,
anyway. But now I think but now they're kind of facing something different where they have to kind of run their way to safety again.
Right when they land the helicopter and all of a sudden they're running, they're sprinting from something. You can't really tell what it is.
Yeah.
You see things kind of running at them, but you don't know what the hell it is. It could just be more people just trying to get a hold of the kids, but
they're
just sprinting all the way until they get into the gate.
Right.
So yeah.
So with that, the tone, I think, I don't know if we could really score tone, but I think the tone is also just very dark, but just kind of, it's not very semi-serious with a couple of just weirdness sprinkled in. So be ready for that.
I think we can actually score the tone by how they execute it, meaning that the tone, you can't tell the tone is, and obviously they did a horrible job doing it. I think they did a great job saying this tone. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 just because the fact that it was so drastically different from the first one. It threw me off, and that's the only reason I'm not getting a 5 out of 5. They did a great job setting it. Just like, what the hell happened here?
I'm
gonna put it 4. I'll give it 4 out of 5 for tone.
I'll also give it a 4 out of 5 for tone, just because again it was drastically just different from the other one, but they pulled it off real. Like it's believable. It's believable that they could have went from this situation to that situation.
Yeah, it stretches your imagination to the limits. So,
yeah. Which also is a product of
pace and editing, which is a next category. I'm assuming that's what you're trying to get to. Yeah. So for pace and editing, I guess I'll take the lead for this one. I thought the pace was just fine. Again, as long as it keeps my attention, then the pace to me is we did a good job. When I watched for editing wise a movie, that's actually one of the main things I watch for, because I have a background of actually knowing what goes behind the editing part and how meticulous it is, how much you have to focus on it. And you could blink for 1 second, you might miss the editing thing that you need to get rid of.
Gotcha.
So when I watch a movie, I look for mistakes or like little things that I might have left out on purpose or by accident even.
Yeah.
I didn't notice anything in terms of editing wise. I didn't see anything wrong. There was this one part, I don't remember when, I remember seeing like a shadowy figure of a person, but I'm not sure if that was deliberate or not. But I guess, when I go back to watch it a second time, that's when I really see it. One thing I did want to point out in terms of like the pace of this movie, I kind of alluded to in the previous section. The progression of it was so polarizing. Meaning it went from one extreme to the other, and then to the other extreme to the other one. I said to you right after we watched the movie, I couldn't believe how it started, where they were in like basically like a forest kind of scene, and it was like agricultural. They're making their own tribe, and it was almost like Survivor in a way, right? Building their own fires, having these little like powwows. It was almost like Peter Pan, and the Lost Boys,
right?
Almost. You gotta have that feel to it,
right?
To the point where the first one they're trying to figure out how to get through a maze. They get through a maze, and all of a sudden they're in a lab area. They find out what really happened, and this one took off right from there.
Yeah,
and then they went from the lab section to desert, and then they went to not to ruin anything, but they ended up in like what I think it was probably a mall, like a deserted mall. And then they end up in like mountains, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
How did you go from from the Lost Boys kind of like scenery to literally mountains, covered in sand, and just it threw me off in a way, but it was done right. It was like, wow, how the hell did you get from one point to the other? So that to me that threw me off.
Right. Yeah. It's just so as far as like pace and editing goes for me too. Again, we were fresh off watching the first one, and it kind of it totally just threw me off where the movie was going. But remember, they went from the lab and being in there, and then like you said, then they went to the Scorch. Then they went to different places inside of the Scorch, like the mall, and then there's this little community place that they went to, and that's where stuff just started kind of getting a little bit weird. Again, we're giving you minor spoilers. It's not going to take away anything from your experience of the movie, but it's just stuff for you to expect. But I think the pacing, except there's one little part in the movie that, and I think you know what I'm talking about, that kind of we were both just like, what the heck is going on? And then they came out of that, and then it went back to how the pacing of it was. So if I score the pace and the editing, and the editing for me too was fine, because there wasn't anything weird that I saw that was wrong or something that didn't make sense to me. Again, we only watched it once, so if we had probably watched it a couple of times, like a lot of nerds do, we'll probably catch some stuff. But for now, there wasn't anything glaringly obvious. I give the pace and editing another 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I would give it 4 out of 5 just because it is so crazy. If it didn't go from like one extreme to the other, I would give it a perfect 5 out of 5. But because your imagination had to run wild in order to make this movie happen, or to make the books happen. So I give it 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
And at least our last part, which it is
acting. Alas, poor Yurik. I knew him.
Why do you have to do that gesture? Why do you have to do this?
Anyway.
That could mean so many different things.
What, this?
Yes.
What does this mean?
Really?
What?
I'm not going to say it. People might be of younger ages watching. I'm not going to explain what this is.
Are you picking grapes?
You could think of it that way. Grapes harnessed in a bag.
You're disgusting. I wasn't even thinking any of that stuff.
Now you were. So are you now.
All right.
Anyway, so acting.
A lot of like I'm also fresh coming off of movies of like veteran actors, and we also just came off watching Avengers and Straight Outta Compton, which had a lot of newcomers in there.
Straight Outta Compton, you mean?
Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I said, was it?
Well, you said Avengers, and I was just clarifying that you were talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So we were coming off a summer of watching Avengers, and then we both had just watched before this was Straight Outta Compton,
Which is a great movie.
It's a great movie, by the way. We're not going to get to review that.
Yeah.
We're just going to let that hang. I mean, everybody knows that's a great movie.
I'm sure everyone heard it already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, with this cast, and a lot of the cast from the Maze Runner carries over into this one also. I think they did a great job. I think the acting was, I mean, it's nothing Shakespearean about acting. They
Sure.
they did their job, and they got the point across for what type of a movie it was. Nobody was underplaying it. Nobody was overplaying it. I think everybody just kind of played their part as best they could. And again, I'm gonna give it up to. Well, I'm also gonna give it up to Alexander Flores, the dude that plays Winston, because he has a scene in there that kind of just gets you.
That was so good.
He's got a scene in there that gets you for real.
I did not expect that.
No, I didn't expect that either.
It was surprisingly good.
Yeah, and it was just so,
Still the show almost.
Almost, and we're not again. We want you to kind of come to expect it, but we're not going to spoil what it was.
I think they did a good job with that.
Yeah, I think they did a great job with that.
Yeah.
I think the dude that plays Thomas was pretty consistent from the last time, Dylan O'Brien. Mm-hmm. He did a great job also. And then Kaya Scodelario, is that her name? Kaya Scodelario.
Scodelario,
yeah.
Plays Teresa.
Plays Teresa.
Yeah.
She, her character takes a nice turn.
You know what's funny? She didn't talk much in this movie.
She didn't. Yeah, I mean...
Majority of the movie, the first part, she was basically, not ruining anything, she was almost basically unconscious the entire time. Yeah,
you know what, though? I was kind of, again, coming from reading the Wikipedia page, I wasn't expecting her to be in a lot of the movie, according to that that plot point. Good point. But, yeah, but when she's there, she makes an impact. And you'll see what kind of an impact she makes.
Yeah.
Also, we had a nice cameo and from Gus Fring.
My boy, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah. He plays a nice character that, again, if you read the books, he plays Jorge in there, and he does a great job. He's always nice and consistent, as he was on Breaking Bad.
He's got a belly now. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Well,
I'm not sure if he gained that weight for the movie or
just what just happened. People get old,
That's true.
But he did a great job in there, and also you had a girl in there that you liked. The girl that plays Brenda. Rosa Salazar.
Those eyes, man. I do think she's beautiful. Girls with like the eyes that really capture you. But she actually did a great job too, because when you first see her, she's kind of like this nonchalant, like I'm a badass, I know, kind of character, and then they peel through the layers. Not many, because her role wasn't too big at this point. Mm-hmm. But when she was doing the acting parts, it was pretty damn good. Yeah. I mean, I could be biased because I really do think she's gorgeous. But,
gotcha. No, cool. Also, the supporting cast of the dude that plays Newt, Thomas Brody Sangster, and also he's. I mean,
he plays
even the dude that plays Fry Pan, Dexter Darden. He was good. I like their supporting roles. They do what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to support the main dramatic scenes with it's understated acting, but it was very good.
Yeah.
So as far as acting goes, again, it's nothing to write home about. Everybody did their part and exactly what they needed to do. I give that a 4 out of 5.
Okay. I agree. Like this movie had a great mix of new actors and seasoned veterans, I like to call them. Mm-hmm. You got Dylan O'Brien, who played Thomas. You got Thomas Brody Sangster. Thomas Brody Sangster.
Yeah.
Played Newt, but also he's more so known for Game of Thrones role as Jojen.
Oh wow.
So
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Instant credibility sunken down. He plays a pretty big role. He actually wasn't in the newest season. They deliberately didn't have those characters. Well, also his character. Never mind.
Yeah.
But again, we had my favorite villain of all time, Gus Fring, in there, played by Giancarlo Esposito. Played his character is very good. Yeah. I think it was like although I feel like he didn't really have to change much.
No,
it was
good.
Yeah, it was. He did what he was in his comfort zone. Let's just say. One casting that I really like is Barry Pepper. because he's been in so many different movies. He's been in Saving Private Ryan, which is why I really love him in.
Yeah.
But he's also in The Green Mile.
Gotcha.
He's one of the deputies, I think they are. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And also, he was great in 7 Pounds with Will Smith.
Gotcha.
So I love him as an actor. I'm glad he was in it.
Yeah, he also did a nice turn as a Dale Earnhardt in the Dale Earnhardt story. I think that was an ESPN movie. I'm not sure about that, but it was.
I think
he
it
did
was.
great.
You had Alan Tudyk in there, who's watched from Firefly. You know, so usually people, we're all closeness. So Firefly, so he was like, Firefly.
Yeah.
He played kind of the eccentric role character, kind of like almost like a I don't know, like a drug lord kind of thing. In a way.
When isn't he an eccentric role?
That's true.
Remember he was in Transformers? With
the accent. Well, he was badass though in that movie though too.
Yeah, I mean, but it was unexpected.
That is true. I like him as an actor because he can do those goofy roles, but still.
He's also
convincing.
a dynamite voice actor, Alan Tudyk.
What is it? Do you know what he's done? I don't know what he's done.
I'll let you look that up.
Okay.
And that's your homework assignment for everyone else. Look up what Alan Tudyk has done for voice
Get your
acting.
assignment pads out because apparently we give out homework.
Yeah.
And also the one person that my favorite veteran actor that was in there besides Giancarlo was Lily Taylor. She was so good in The Conjuring. She played the mom role in The Conjuring.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
she was so good. So when I saw him, I'm like, ooh, Lily Taylor's in there. Awesome. She did a great job. Again, it's a very somewhat limited role. I think her responsibility in that role was to further the story along and explain some of the backstory of characters. So, good job. But what I really want to call out is Ki-Hong Lee, who played Mino. It is so cool to see an Asian American in a major Hollywood movie in a starring role.
Yeah, he's the best one since Data from the Goonies. For real. He's like Data on steroids. But it was really, it was good to see that he an Asian not being typecast as
he wasn't like doing a martial arts thing or making stupid noises and breaking boards.
He was just being he was being like
badass.
Badass. Yeah.
He started off in doing, from what I remember when I first saw him, he was doing Wong Fu Production shorts. So a lot of them were comedic based, some like romantic involved, some acting. So he had a good. When I watched him, he was pretty damn good. So when I saw him in this movie, I'm like, all right, that was actually the main reason I wanted to watch this movie. I'm like, all right, I'm Asian American acting in a movie, let's go.
Yeah. That wasn't Jet Li or Jackie Chan.
Or Donnie Yen. And it was cool is that even in his action roles, he's not doing martial arts.
Yeah.
He's wielding weapons. That one scene in the Scorch Trials where he just tackles that guy.
Yeah.
He just like decides, you know what? I'm going to turn around and tackle him.
Yeah. And we were both just like, yeah.
Yeah, what's funny is I don't know if you noticed that the people that are sitting behind us, when certain things happen to Mino, we're all like, no, not me, no.
Yeah, so that right there gives you an idea of how good Ki-Hong Lee's acting was. Yeah. He connected with a lot of people in the audience, which was it was fun to see an Asian American doing that.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to correct myself. He's the Asian American badass that's now compared to Sung Kang from Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I think he's actually better than Sung Kang because Sung Kang he always plays the same role.
So Sung Kang's been in all the Fast and Furious movies from Tokyo Drift up until he was in 7, but he was already dead in 7.
He also did that prequel to Tokyo Drift.
Los Bandoleros.
No. There's this other movie. I'm gonna look it up right now.
It's Los Bandoleros. Watch.
I'm telling you, it's not that. I know what you're talking about. It's something else.
I'm gonna be right.
It's a low budget. It was made. There's what you're talking about. They made this thing. It was. I remember watching because it was like a big deal back in the day. Because it was.
Are you talking about Better Luck Tomorrow?
Yes. He was. His character was Han.
And it was okay.
Yeah.
So that's not actually confirmed, but I'm hoping that's the connection because just a sidebar.
Yeah.
All right, sidebar. So in 2000, around 2001, 2002, Sung Kang was in an all Asian cast movie
directed by Justin Lin.
Directed by Justin Lin, who did Tokyo Drift all the way up until Furious 6. That also called Better Luck Tomorrow, which also starred John Cho and
Justin Lin.
Justin Lin, directed. Sung Kang played a person in there also named Han. And there's a lot.
Justin confirmed it.
I don't know if he actually did, but
we're gonna have to find that.
We're gonna have to find.
We're not gonna do it now, but we're gonna find that out.
Yeah. Back to the movie.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I think Hyun-Lee's the badass Asian character next to Han from. So to wrap it up for the sequel to the Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials, I gave watchability a 4 out of 5. We'll give it a
5 out of 5.
We gave the fun factor. I gave the fun factor a 5 out of 5. We'll give it a
5 out of 5.
I gave the tone a 4 out of 5. We'll give it a
4 out of 5.
And the pacing and editing for me was 4 out of 5. We'll give it a
4 out of 5.
And the acting for me was 4 out of 5. We'll give it a
4 out of 5.
The overall grade for me was a B-. We'll give it a solid B+, which gave the overall grade a B. Thanks for watching this first episode of SHORYUFLICKS. Don't forget to hit the like button, even if you hated us. Hit the subscribe button so you can get ready for all of our upcoming videos, and check us out on Instagram at SHORYUFLICKS. Signing off. My name is Maersky. This is
Will.
Peace.
Adios.
SHORYUFLICKS.